Hello everyone. So we are in another session with AI in trades. Today I am with Dave Marghella from Iceland Fire and Ice Pros from Pennsylvania. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
But Dave, can you tell about yourself, your story, how you became an owner in this business, and what are you doing differently to differentiate from other companies?
Yes, it's a long story. Been in business almost 30 years. I got into trades thanks to my brother, really. When I got out of the army, came home, was not a whole lot of great job opportunities. My brother and I looking at what we could do, and he suggested heating and air school. We checked it out together. I ended up going and he didn't actually. He ended up
Hmm.
becoming a truck driver a little bit later. But I went to school for heating and air. And then I landed a job in the local market back then, 30 years ago, making $7 an hour.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so it wasn't much. It was not good working conditions. The boss was not a kind person.
I get it.
Changed jobs, ended up working for a place where they partnered me up with a alcoholic, drug addict guy. And so I was only there maybe 3 months. And I might as well go try and start something on my own rather than having these bad jobs, right? They were just not good jobs. Branched out on my own, got a job at Lowe's while I was doing the transition. And within 6 months, I had so much business that I couldn't continue my job at Lowe's anymore, right? Like it took 6 months until I was working full time every day.
Nice. Then everything started to grow after that.
Yeah, so there was a period of maybe 15 years where I was just your normal chuck and a truck guy, just me. I'd hire an occasional helper, one of my friends, to come help me install furnace or air conditioner on the days I had install. I did a lot of service. And I actually went to a seminar that was put on by EGIA in Columbus, Ohio. And I went out there and I met some people and basically had some reality slapped into me that I wasn't running a business, right? That I was always going to own a job. I really wasn't ever going to have a chance of going anywhere. Been 10 years, 12 years, something like that, maybe. And starting that weekend, I've been on a quest to improve ever since. We're not a giant organization by any means. There's about 15 of us. Um,
Okay.
we're doing pretty okay, and we are hiring. We're going to have more than 20 by the end of this year.
Is it mostly technicians or also, for example, office workers too? With
Yeah, we have office workers. A couple of our office workers are part-time. Six techs, four installers, five office slash two of the guys in the office work office and field, including myself. So I still go out in the field here and there, mostly for training.
got it. So do you have some ambitions to grow the business further, maybe with some acquisitions or maybe just bringing private equity? Nowadays, it's actually a big thing in this industry. Or are you okay with the current situation, just using your own money to grow and just improve your company?
Yeah, it's funny. Once you actually learn how to run a business and how to examine numbers, I don't really need anybody else's money. I have the ability to grow with the funding that we generate from doing work. And there is money available if we would want it. And like everybody in this industry, I'm sure we get 10 emails a day of people wanting to buy us.
Okay.
At this point, it's not for sale. If we was to sell, I would want to make sure that everybody that works there continues to have a great job. And
Okay.
I know a couple people in the business that would potentially buy if I ever do decide to sell, and I know they would take care of the people that work here. So that would number one priority.
Yeah, it's more like a family for you, as long as I understand. Yeah, business also, but you're also taking care of your people, your employees over there, and just becoming more like a family, right?
I call it a tribe.
Yeah, I think it's a better explanation for that. Right.
I like the term tribe. It's a bunch of families trying to coexist and live together and do the best we can for our family units, but still looking out for each other.
Yeah, got it. And if we combine this idea with the concept of this podcast, so what do you think about the AI? Do you think that the AI will replace anybody in your company soon? I'm sure that the technicians are safe because we still have more time for the robots to come and do the technician stuff. But for the office workers or maybe for talent gap. So what do you think about this AI would change the structure of your company?
Yeah, I would never fire somebody to replace them with AI, right? Or lay them off or whatever. I couldn't do that. I do hope to use AI more to grow and maybe
Mhm.
expand a force multiplier, if you will, so that the people that are in the office can use AI to do their
Mhm.
job better, and then we don't have to add office employees as we grow.
Got it.
Uh, but to get rid of somebody, I couldn't do it. Even in the past, there have been times of struggle where
Mhm.
we were even losing money, and it would have been a good business judgment. It would have made sense to lay people off, and we're not going to do that. We're going to take care of the people that are there because, quite honestly, when times are hard for us, they step up and take care of us. What picture does that point if we get rid of them?
Yeah, I got it. So I think it aligns with the philosophy of how you manage the company. And I also hear that a lot of people using AI as a tool or some assistance to empower existing users and also to create more efficiency and just allow them to grow the business. In our previous call, you also mentioned using the voice AI agents. I know it's not a replacement, but maybe will be a backup solution or an overflow solution for maybe the peak hours and after hours instead of using voicemails. So, how's your experience? Did you try voice AI agents and are you finding it successful? Or do you think that it's just a failure for now, but maybe it's improving?
Yes, we are using a voice agent to answer phones after hours
Mhm.
mostly, to catch overflow calls when it is busy, but mostly evenings and weekends. We
Mhm.
plan to use it a little bit more to free up some time with our office staff so that they can do other things. The person that does most of our phone calls is a marketing person by trade, and she would love to have more time to work on marketing. And obviously, that helps us. The more marketing we can do, the better off we are. As things grow, we hope to get the AI working a little bit better so that does free her up. I do think that we'll expand, right? I think there's now the AI web agents that could be on our website and help book people and walk them through. We're still so new in this. And like all technology, what will be here in 2 years and 5 years and 10 years? I can't even imagine at this point.
Yeah, with the recent acceleration of AI, I think nobody can imagine what will happen in the even in the near future. And because so many investments are being done in this area, so it just makes it crazy growing. So, how about your experience so far? I understand that it helped your marketing person to just spare more time on the marketing side, so then it will allow you to grow. And do you get feedback from the users? So, do they like using the AI agents and booking meetings, or do they prefer to talk to people? For some businesses, they're actually calling their businesses only for a reason, and probably they are having a bad time. So they may want to talk to a human, but for some business, it's actually very successful. So the only thing that the customer wants to just book a meeting, and they're okay with it. And sometimes the younger generations just prefer those things instead of talking to a real person. And what was your experience, and what was the feedback coming from the users for you?
So that's the thing, right? And as of right now, I think most of our users don't really like, most of our customers, most of the people that are calling, they don't
Mm,
really like a voice agent, right?
mm,
And quite honestly, neither do I. But to have people available 24 hours a day, it's just not feasible for us, right?
yes.
So we do have our agent, and it explains like, hey, I can help you book calls, I can do this. The office people aren't there, but if this is an emergency, we'll get a message over to them. They will call you back. But if it's not an emergency, we'll get you called back first thing in the morning. I believe, and I hope it's working. I haven't checked it since we just recently switched in the past 2 or 3 weeks to a new provider for our voice agent. Last one was not working well, which also caused a lot of frustration with customers calling in. The new
Mm,
one works much, much better. And so we've had much less frustration, but it also sends a text out when those calls come in so that they can have access to our web booking link. Now, as you mentioned,
mm,
younger people, will often take advantage of that, and they'll go online and book their appointment. And we're booking through Service Titan, and they'll go online and book their appointment, and it's done. And we come in and the schedule's built out and all of that's handled. Where older people are leaving a message and may not even realize that they're talking to an AI in some cases. Get
Mhm.
frustrated because things do go in a loop because they don't really answer questions or they talk over it and it gets confused. Because it does matter how you interact with them at this point. Again, the technology's still new.
Got it. And on the marketing side, or maybe on the customer side, again, they're also using AI agents, right? So instead of going to Google and search for it, they just go to their favorite AI tool and ask, for example, home service or maybe HVAC provider. And how did it affect you? Did you see that you're just getting more leads and organic more leads, or are you losing your organic floor, or maybe your price per lead is just increasing?
So no, our SEO is still growing. I'm going to show my ignorance here. What is it? GEO that is.
Yeah, they also call it, yeah, GEO, generative engine optimization.
All right, so we use an outside agency for marketing and sit down meeting with them once a month and we go over all the details every month and we touch base more often than that when needed. We're just now starting to get into the GEO and I don't really understand it a lot, but I do know that our cost per lead fluctuates on all the other things we do, the Google guaranteed and the pay per click and all of
Mm.
those things. It always fluctuates, but we have not seen a big spike in it. Now, I do think it will pick up. We're also not in a very trendy area. I would suspect that people in Miami, New York, LA, I would suspect that they're going to see this first. Who
Yeah,
knows?
because maybe there are 10 options, but AI only bring two out of them usually. And next time they bring another two, depending on the customer reviews and other things. You never know what's the algorithm underlying. And so investing in SEO also creates a value on the geo. And for the companies who are already in this business for a long time, what I see, they have better reviews, more reviews. So AI actually prioritize their listing on top of the new one. So they have more advantage over the new one. So you told me that you are in this business for a long time. I think it helps you create more leads for you. And the other thing that I hear from other guests, maybe it could be a case for you too. The customers also make research on the AI tools. They get an estimate from the AI, and also they come to you. AI may be misleading them. But on the other hand, AI also make them more qualified because they know what they want, and also they will be more ready to use. So, which one is the case for you?
First of all, I think that everybody's using it at surface level. Not everybody. Obviously, there's people that are trendsetters that are using it a lot deeper. I think the majority of the curve is just dipping their toes in. We're realizing that it's going to be the way of the future. We are
Mhm.
using things like ChatGPT, but oftentimes it's used as a search engine, right?
Yeah.
And not really to its full capabilities. And I think that's what most of our customers are doing. However, if you deal with AI, and I'm not an expert by any means, but if you deal with it, you do know that it's a lot like talking to a politician, maybe. The way you ask the question, the way you phrase it will determine the answers you get out of it. And we are
Yes.
fortunate to have some technicians, and I'm the old man in the office. Everybody there is younger than me, and we have a lot of really talented, really smart younger people. And so when this comes up in conversations with customer, they'll say, "Hey, let's pull out your phone and let's go through this together and let's ask the right questions so that we get the right answers." And when we start getting the right answers out of it, for somebody that already trusts ChatGPT, which seems to be the one that everybody uses the most, but any
Yeah.
AI, right? If they're coming with you saying, "Hey, I looked this up and this is the information I got," and the question is always, "Okay, that's great. Where did you look it up? Is it a reliable resource?" I used my AI, I used my Chat GPT, I used my Gemini, I used my Grok, whatever we're using. Okay, let's
Mhm.
pull that out and let's ask it the question, but let's phrase it in the right way because AI is going to be self-reassuring, right? If I
Yes.
say, "Hey, chat, a new air conditioning system should cost me $3,000, right?" It's going to come back and say, "Yeah, sure, we can do that. And you'll be able to find somebody." And that you seem to be spot on. But then when we say, "Hey, chat, realistically, what is a new air conditioner replacement in my neighborhood for this size house, for this, for that?" Oh, now it's 7,000, 8,000, because that is realistic in a lot of cases.
Got
So
it. And does it also created crazy stories for you? For example, one of our guests, they were in the garage door business, so they asked AI and they just AI just suggested them a different door. And the door doesn't exist. It needs to be custom made and it eventually cost them $20,000. So do you see such stories or do they just create some problem for you?
I haven't personally experienced anything like that yet.
Okay.
And I think we're really good at providing information, and we're also really good at working as a team. All of our field people and even the people that are interacting with customers on the phone on a daily basis, we train on it, we discuss it pretty often. If you don't know the answer, let's find somebody in the company that does. We have a lot of people there, we have a lot of experience, and there's nobody in the company that knows everything about the business,
Mhm.
including myself, right? Like there's things that our bookkeeper's doing that, or our HR person's doing, who happens to be the same person. I have no idea, right? All I know is it gets done to the standard, and I don't know. I can see the masterpiece when it's finished, but I don't know what brush stroke she's doing to get it there.
Mhm.
And so I think with that said, when those conversations come up and we just come together collectively as a team to get the right answer, to get the right information over. We're emailing customers, we're texting them, we'll bring them to our office, we'll go to their house, we'll show them the truth behind the matter and show them why it's actually the truth. And I think that disarms a lot of that. I don't think we're struggling with that yet. It may be an interesting journey looking forward to that.
Got it. And also, it is believed that AI is mostly used by the office workers because it's nowadays mostly for cognitive or intellectual work, replacing people in those areas. But I also see that technicians are now using it too. For example, to dig into some technical details, all the equipment. When they're talking to the customer, the AI may guide them to ask better follow-up questions to understand the problems better. So are you leveraging AI in those areas, for example, to get better technical assistance on the equipments and installations?
Absolutely. So we recently added Bluon to Service Titan. Our technicians love that. You and I spoke a week or so ago on the telephone and to go over what we would be discussing, and that came up. And at that time, I didn't know. So we took a half hour, 45 minutes and talked. And I said, "Hey, how are you using AI? What do you like? What don't you like?" It was a great conversation with the team, and I learned a lot from that. They really like Blue One. They
Mhm.
really like ChatGPT. They are using ChatGPT to write their invoice summaries and take notes for their jobs and have very professionally written and punctuation and capitalization to present to a customer, which steps up our game a little bit. The technical side of things with Blue One, they're able to scan a tag and Blue One brings up install manuals and they bring up repair and troubleshooting charts. And then there's an option where if they are struggling, they can put in symptoms and Blue One will help them through the
Yeah.
process of fixing the system.
Yeah, it's interesting. And are you also collaborating with other home services? One of my guest told me that they're using some AI meeting notes, and there are also ones that work on the phone, so it doesn't need to be an online meeting. So you can also use it in in-person meetings. So they were just recording everything, and then they use AI to create the action items and the coordinations because nothing is lost. You can also ask questions. Are you leveraging those kind of things when if you're just collaborating with other home service company?
So we are not yet. It is on my research list. We don't do any new construction, so we're not really collaborating with other tradespeople. I do have friends in the trade. We chat a little bit, rarely about anything like this, but our jobs are mostly change outs, mostly service work. The most we're dealing with is setting up a crane here and there, or maybe somebody to come in and repair some plaster walls or drywall that we have to damage in order to do our job. And that's real basic. I think the AI would probably slow us down, honestly, at that point. It would be more work to use an AI than what we're actually putting at that point.
Yeah, got it. Fair enough. And what about the office work? So I think that's some of the most anticipated part that AI will just come and just change things most, like maybe the accounting or the reporting or the HR and also the marketing. So there's so much good tools on the marketing side. So you can generate now your videos or such a content. And also there are some companies using AI to answer the reviews. Some of them actually not to do that with the AI. There's so much opportunities on the HR reporting and other things. Did you have a chance to use AI in those areas to fill some gaps that you are not doing? And also, did you see some improvements or also some failures over there?
Yeah, absolutely. So myself personally, I use it when I see a gap. Actually used it to rewrite our entire handbook. Maybe just copied and pasted the entire handbook in there and said, "Hey, review this," and it made a world of difference. And what took
Mhm.
me months to build, it edited in 10 minutes, right? It took long to read through it and then make it change a few things than it did anything else. And that was probably my first real experience with it. And it was amazing. And so now we are a performance-based company, and
Mhm.
I've been struggling with getting the charts right and everything. And so one night driving home, I said, "Hey, chat, I'd really love to build this performance structure. I'm struggling with this. I'd like all the rules in place. I'd like all of the math done for me with some simple inputs." And between red lights, it had all of the work done on something that I had been probably struggling with for months, building a piece of it at night and saying, "I don't like that. Let's change this." And I just couldn't get the tables right in Excel and get it to figure out in an
Mm.
easy format that the guys could see. When we talk pay structure, it's important that you know what you're going to earn. Nobody wants to go to work to guess what they're going to make that day. So our guys need to be able to see upfront, like, what did I get paid for that job? How much am I getting paid in my paycheck? And so with ChatGPT, again, it built it in literally between red lights. It had it done. It's just an amazing tool. And then everybody else in the office is using it. At least most of them. There are two I'm not sure of. The two that are closer to my age, I'm not sure if they're using. But again, all of our young people, they're all over it.
Yeah, because once you learn it and once you just get the value out of it, and when you realize that how things are done so quickly, yeah, you don't want to go back. Yeah, you want to leverage it more because it's very comfortable. Do you want to add something, for example, where do you think that the AI will create most impact in this industry? Where do you think that the opportunity is with the use of AI?
Man, I grew up in an era where when I was a kid, we had a black and white TV. We had three channels if you didn't count the ones with static, right? And you could maybe have a friend hold an antenna at a certain angle and get a fourth some days. We had a telephone on the wall that was a rotary dial at grandma's and then push buttons. And now I have thousands of TV shows at my fingertips. I have a device that has access to more information and more data than NASA had during the moon landing, whether you believe that or not. Right. So to think of where AI is going to go, I can't even fathom. You're ankle deep in this ocean of AI. The depth and the width of this product, it's gonna be amazing. There's no doubt about that. I think it'll blow most of our science fiction out of the water. We do now have the self-driving cars. We have experts in almost everything through AI at the touch of a button. I can't even imagine. I think it's going to really unleash the human potential for sure.
Got it. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think you are one of the blessed businesses, so people call home service AI proof. Yeah, because we will have more time to robots come and just replace the technicians. I think it would take longer because so far AI is being trained with the information that was already available on the internet, so they just took the information. But the other data that the robots need is not there. So, for example, you don't know how much you should squeeze the egg without breaking it, right? What the technicians are doing nowadays, I think is super complex for robots to replace them. So, do you think that you are lucky being in this business?
Yeah, I really do actually. I do think that the way things have turned around, but there's more to it than that even, right? So it's our time to shine. I've been here 30 years and again, 20 of that, I was just treading water, trying not to drown, right? So for the last 10 years, I've seen the times where we go through and people are afraid to spend money. People are afraid to do work on their house. So like life is a struggle and business is a struggle. But We have this mass exodus of our older technicians, older people leaving the workforce. We had a lot of that through COVID as well, where people just
Mm,
left the workforce and it left this huge gap in tradesmen across every sector, every blue
mm.
collar worker. So there's this huge gap there, which means we get to actually charge an appropriate fee for our work and make a decent living off of that, which helps. We're not AI proof. We are AI resistant at this point, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point, by the way.
But the other thing that we're really lucky for right now, and it's a double-edged sword, and I feel horrible for a lot of people that they are going to be replaced by AI because they've had these office jobs. AI is now replacing them. And these are really smart, really talented, really motivated people
Mm,
that can now be acquired to work with us, right? They can be
mm,
taught to be technicians. They are smart people, they are goal-oriented people. We're going to have this huge opportunity as long as we have the training in place or the partners to do the training. We're going to have this ability to acquire human resources to allow us to expand, to allow us to run a business efficiently because of AI.
got it. So, yeah, it was a great conversation, and your story was very inspiring. I'm super happy that it's actually working for you for the last 10 years. And thanks for joining me today for this podcast and sharing your story insights. So, if you have some last words, and also if you tell our listeners how can they reach you and how can they find you and your business.
So it's Fire and Ice Heating and Air in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Quick internet search will lead you
Hmm.
to. I love talking about the business. I love talking about the theory behind it. Listen, I am not a smart enough guy to come up with any of this on my own, but what I do is I follow guys who are brilliant, Tommy Mello and Gary Alex and Weldon Long, and there's the whole bunch more, hundreds, there's thousands probably, and I follow probably dozens. Victor Rancor. These guys are building this machine and they're doing it in the major populations. And then all we have to do is ask them, talk to them.
Hmm.
Ken Goodrich and Paul Kelly, and these guys have, it's amazing what they've built, right? And you can search their names, and I don't know if they resonate with you, those names, but the size of the business and what they're doing. And look, I don't agree with all of their business practices, but if you go to their seminars, if you read their books, if you do it,
Will make an improvement.
you can reproduce what you're wanting, right? And these people will share. And I'll
Mm,
share what I know. I can fill a thimble on a good day with knowledge. But there are so many people out there that are willing to share information and help, and I'll help where I can. But it's easy enough to find me. If you're in our marketplace and you're looking for a company that will treat you well, that's us. If you're in our marketplace and you want a great career, my goal personally is to have the best place in our marketplace to work. And I think we either have that or we're really on the cusp of having that. The feedback I get from my people, and I do ask often, is it is a good job. It is a good place to work. They do enjoy coming to work, and even their bad days aren't horrible, right? We have a team to do it. And I really believe if we take care of our people, they'll take care of our customers. And so I really put a lot of effort
mm.
into sure that they have a good job. And that's different for everybody. Yeah.
Exactly. But the intentions are actually so important. So I see that you have very good intentions about your employees and your customers. I think that's what's make you successful because people feel, the customers feel about those things, even though they don't see it, but they just understand the intentions. So then they feel comfortable about it. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. It was such a great conversation. I learned a lot from you. I hope it was also fun to chat with me.
Very fun. So thank you.
Thank you.